Hi, welcome once again to J Lowe Artist YouTube channel. I thought today what we'd do is something fairly simple, but something that a lot of people don't think about, and that's facial proportions, using this person as a reference, as a model. So the first thing we're going to do is we want to just establish where our face goes. So I'm going to use our pencil, and just draw a simple shape, a simple form, kind of an egg shape like that. Doesn't have to be perfect right now. We'll adjust it as we go. For this example, I'm going to draw with this Prismacolor Ebony, just so that you can see it a little easier. I usually start out with the number 2 pencil. The other thing you'll want is a piece of tracing paper, and this piece of tracing paper is really going to help you. Any kind of thin paper that you can see through is going to work. So then once we establish the size that we want it, then we want to establish a couple of things. First of all, where is the center? And you can just draw down the center, and you can use your fingers like calipers to kind of figure that out. You also want to find the center horizontally and vertically. So you've got the center, we've got the center here vertically. Now we need the center horizontally. And sometimes I'll just lay my pencil in there and say, oh, okay, is that about the center? And you just kind of want to lay it in there and make yourself a pretty good center. But then once you found the center there, you want to find the center of your face here. And so from the center here out to the edge of your face, what the proportions that we've drawn, find the center there and the center on the other side. And they should be fairly even. You can use your pencil like little calipers to just kind of figure that out. I'm pretty good at guessing because I've done this so much. But once you figured that out, then you think, okay, the iris part of her eye is going to sit right there, just on the inside. You can overlap just a little bit, but for the most part, that pupil is going to sit right there in the center area, just above the exact center. If you measure your head, somewhere around 4.25 inches from eye to the top, from eye to the bottom is about 4.5 inches. So you're sitting just 1/4 inch above that line. So once you've made your iris line there, you think, okay, that's the center of the eye. You want to cut that in half now, from this area to that area, cut that in half. And that's about where the tear duct goes. And so you can make yourself a little eye and say, okay, tear duct is about right there. And if you think about this, you have one eye distance in between your eyes. So once you've established the size of your eye, you can go in, you can take your piece of tracing paper. If you're anything like me, I remember when I first started drawing, I could never get the eyes exactly the same size. And it always bothered me. And so one thing you can do is you can trace the eye that you really like the best, and then you can flip it over, and you can retrace it, and whatever you traced on here will be transferred onto the back. But you just want to check yourself. Make sure that your eyes are about in the right spot there. And then what you want to do is, once you've got that established, your tear ducts are in there, the top of your eye is in there, you want to divide that space between the center of where the eyes go and the chin, and you want to divide that in half. Now, this is not exact. Half is not where her nose goes. I know I've seen some drawing tutorials, they say, well, that's where your nose goes. It really isn't. That makes the nose a little bit too long. It's actually slightly above that. And if you take the width of your eye and you put it right there, then you say, well, the top of the nose is right there, and the top of the mouth is right there. So you can kind of guesstimate. The top of the nose is going to be here, or the bottom of the nose. And some people will do a little circle, depending on what you want. If you look at our scrap, her nose is very spherical. And so you could do that if you want. And then what I'll do is just come down about that same distance here, come down and make a little divot, and that little divot represents that philtrum, that little groove between the nose and the top lip. It's called the philtrum. And that establishes where your nose goes. You can also say, well, look, if I come straight down from my tear ducts and make a little bracket there, straight down from the tear duct there, and make a little bracket, that's the width of the nose. Your nose is just about the width of your eye, and so you can take your eye and stick it over there and say, yeah, that's about the width of my nose. So everything is being compared to the width of the eye. And then to draw a nose, I usually just will make this little kind of bracket like this, and this little kind of a Nike swoosh that kind of comes down and in. Nike swoosh down and in. And then of course your nose has got a spot in your nose that comes in. What do you call that? Septum. Sometimes people will draw a little edge around here. I like to do that with a shadow and just say this is where the bridge of the nose goes. You know, you want to do a little bridge of the nose. And you also, there's the eyelid that comes up over there. You can kind of draw that eyelid in. It comes up and over. And then your mouth. If you go straight down from the pupil, straight down and make just a little mark right there from the inside of the iris part right there, comes straight down. Side of the iris comes straight down. That's about where the corners of the mouth go. Now she's smiling, and so that kind of broadens it out just a little bit. But overall, you can kind of figure out that's about where that goes. And you can put in a lip there if you want to. The bottom lip, sometimes you just put a little line in there. And people's sizes of their lips will vary. If you're doing a female, oftentimes that lip is a little thicker on the top. We're talking the ideal. We're not talking, when you're doing portraits, it's a little different, but we're just talking the ideal. So once you establish those sizes, you say to yourself, okay, I've got one eye here and one eye here, and then I've got 3/4 of an eye from here to there, and 3/4 of an eye from here to there. And that will establish the outside of your head. You can also come in and say, well, right above that, and you kind of look at your scrap. With a male eye, the eyebrow is a little closer to the eye. With the female eyebrow, it's a little farther away. And these are ideal again. So if you like drawing like Marvel style superheroes, things like that, then ideal is the norm. The jaw. If you go from the mouth straight out, you kind of make yourself a little angle that kind of comes down to there, and then an angle that kind of comes down to the chin. There's your jawline, and it's kind of straight out from there. You just want to make a little bit of an angle. And again, you can have a rounded chin, a square chin. It just kind of depends on the person you're drawing, on personality too. If you're going to do Marvel comics, everybody has kind of a little personality, and you can kind of figure that out. Then you come down about 1/6 of the way. This is half, and half a half is 1/4, and then half of that, and you kind of come up to about 1/8 to 1/6, somewhere in there, and you say, okay, that's about where the hairline starts out. And for her hair kind of comes up and moves down. You can do the same thing if you wanted to. For a neck, for a female neck, you got to come in about the distance between the chin and the center. You come down in about 1/3 of the way, and that's where the neck goes. And the neck actually slightly comes in, and then it'll come back out. You can see the trapezius muscle behind her neck, and so this sternocleidoid mastoid that comes down here, you can see that kind of coming down this way, and then it meets together, where the clavicles meet right there in the thorax. If you could see her ears, and I cannot see her ears, but I can tell where they are, you can just go straight across from the eyebrow, and you can make yourself a little mark right there, and so there's going to be an ear there, straight across from the eyebrow, a little mark. But that's not where the ear attaches. The ear attaches up here. It has a little archway and comes down. You go from the tip of the nose out. That's about where the curve of the lobe of the ear is. So you can kind of figure out where those ears are going to be if you do something like that. Of course, hers are covered up by hair, which is quite often the case for females that have longer hair. And again, we're talking stereotypical. Everybody's going to be slightly different. You as the artist get to choose how you do your person. But those are your basic proportions of the face. And once you know this, drawing people is much, much, much easier. And again, you can adjust them as you go. You can do whatever you want to. Thanks for joining me. Remember, art makes life better. Have a good day.